Well, hello there. Welcome back.
All I know now, shouting from the rooftops, writing on the skyline.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's my Rizukage here, and welcome back to a brand spanking new video here on the channel. If it's your first time viewing the channel, well, hey, what are you doing? You should subscribe. I upload frequent anime and gaming content here on this channel, so if any of that interests you, why don't you become a part of the family? Also, it would really mean a lot, guys, if you follow me on Twitter as well. Link in the description down below. Anyways, guys, today's video, we're going to be talking about Masashi Kishimoto's brand new manga series, Samurai 8, The Tale of Hachimaru. So yes, in case you guys don't know, Samurai 8 is Masashi Kishimoto's new manga series, the creator of the legendary Naruto series. You know, it's been quite some time since I actually heard anything from this man because, I mean, you know, like I said, you know, Naruto has ended quite a few years back, and now finally we have something brand new from Masashi Kishimoto himself, and I really do look up to the guy. You know, Naruto was one of my first series that I ever got into in regards to anime and even manga for that matter. He essentially played a huge part in my, life, getting me invested into the anime-verse, so to speak, and I was really looking forward to what he would be coming out with next, and that is Samurai 8. So what is Samurai 8 about? So Samurai 8 has a sci-fi setting into it, and it also showcases Cyborg Samurai, which is pretty cool, I might add, as well as the fact that this series does have some mythology to it as well, and it's quite actually expansive in its lore and history, which really makes me curious as to how exactly the whole lore and history will play out in the later portion of this series, because of the fact, right off the get-go, this series, when it comes down to its lore, is very interesting in itself, and probably the best part of the manga chapter, at least from what I read. Speaking about the manga chapter is around 70 pages long, so you gotta get some reading done. The manga stars a young boy named Hachimaru who has required medical assistance since his birth, and I mean severe and very intense medical assistance, I might add, as he has been hooked up to a life support system throughout basically his whole life, and if he were to remove himself from it within 3 minutes, he would die. With Hachimaru basically being hooked up to a life support system throughout his whole life, he still dreams of becoming one day a samurai, in which he can walk outside, explore the vast universe, and simply live a life that he never got to live. Now, Samurai 8 does have its typical shonen tropes because, well, it is a shonen. It's published by Shueisha and is written by Masashi Kishimoto himself. However, even despite how the artwork looks in this series, the artwork, by the way, looks great and is very reminiscent to Kishimoto's style. And the reason being as to why that is because it is illustrated by Akira Obo, who is a former assistant of Kishimoto's. So yes, this series isn't drawn by Masashi Kishimoto himself. It's actually drawn by his assistant, and Kishimoto is writing the story to Samurai 8. And also, when it comes down to the deliverance and action scenes, they look really good as well. I was actually very surprised by the action sequences. So, yeah, in regards to the artwork, I'm personally fine with it. Now, I don't know about you guys, but there might be some folk out there who might have issues in regards to the first half and second half of the chapter in regards to its pacing. In my viewing experience when reading this chapter, I wasn't really bothered by the pacing whatsoever, but I can definitely tell that, there does seem to be a little bit of a pacing issue compared to the first half of the chapter, and then the second half. It doesn't feel rushed by any means, and that's probably why it wasn't bothersome to me whatsoever, because it didn't feel rushed, but the first half does kind of start out a little bit slow and informative, and then kind of slaps you in the face by the second half with some action that takes place, which is basically the inciting incident. And if you don't know what the inciting incident is, it's basically an event that happens to the main character in which their whole life turns around. So, I mean, in regards to the pacing, people have been saying that they're not really that much of a fan of in regards to the chapter, but I haven't really had, a problem with it whatsoever. It doesn't feel rushed, so I don't know what the whole problem is. Now, I don't know about you guys, but while I do like the sci-fi setting, I personally really enjoy the world building that this first chapter sets up. I mean, there's a whole mythology that is basically brought up in the introduction to this first chapter, gods, Pandora's box, you know, so it seems to be following that sort of Greek mythology, so to speak, but also it does seem to have some other mythologies in place as well. We'll see how that evolves in the later portion of the series as we see more chapters drop. But personally, I was really intrigued when it comes down to the world building for this, just to learn more about the history and lore of this series. I think honestly the world building is probably the strongest part of this series, and to me that says something. Now, Kishimoto has stated that he would at least like to have Samurai 8 run for at least 10 volumes in length, and that might seem kind of short to some people, but keep in mind, this is subject to change. I believe, you know, Kishimoto has been working on this for about a year or two in development, somewhere along the lines of that, and he already has some various storyboards all, you know, planned out as to how exactly he wants this series to go. But as the story progresses, you know, any artist's, you know, mind is going to wander and want to experiment with different, you know, facets of the story and what have you, and this might lead to possible new volumes, because keep in mind, Kishimoto actually wanted Naruto to be 15 volumes in length, and look how that turned out. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed this first chapter of Samurai 8, The Tale of Hachimaru. What about you guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, what you guys thought about it. Let me know what was your favorite part about reading the manga. Was it the character designs? I think the character designs actually look pretty cool now that I mention it. But yeah, what did you enjoy the most? Artwork, story, world building? Let me know in the comments down below, and do you have hopes for this manga series? In my personal opinion, it wasn't the greatest, you know, start to a series, but it was good. It wasn't bad. It was good, you know, but it wasn't great either. But I do think it does show promise. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you want to see more, like the video if you did, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.